Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to another exciting episode of Psychology Talks. And this is the show where we explore science of human behavior, leadership, and the mindset that shape extraordinary impact. And today's episode is very special because we're going to discuss a very different, a very unique concept of resilience. It's the combination of resilience and persistence. And in this episode, we'll explore that how leaders can prepare for challenges before they arrive, uncover the practical strategies for building resilient individual and organizations. And that's why we are joined with a very special guest today, Dr. Fayadh Alenezi. He is an independent strategy consultant and academic leader specializing in governance, risk management, and business continuity. Dr. Fayadh is also certified Presilience practitioner and the regional lead for Institute of Presilience, working at the intersection of strategy, leadership, and adaptive performance. He is recognized as among the top 2% of scientists worldwide between like 2023 and 2025. He has dedicated his career to helping organizations anticipation disruption, strengthen governance, and design systems that sustain performance under complex and uncertain conditions. So let's welcome Dr. Fayadh. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Fayadh.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Yes, it's really an honor to have you with us today and
Yeah,
discuss this very unique and interesting topic. So I
yeah, and
gave
it's
a
very much
very,
needed.
yes, yes. I gave a very brief introduction, but tell us about yourself. How did you started your journey? What struggles you faced, and
Absolutely.
how did you end up here in this
Abs-
profession?
Absolutely. I think my journey started in engineering and academia, where I was trained to think analytically, model systems, and solve complex technical problems. Very early on, I realized that even the best technical systems fail if decisions around them are weak. So as I moved into leadership, consulting, advisory roles, I started seeing the same pattern repeatedly. Organizations who have strong strategy, strong frameworks, strong controls, still the outcomes fell short. And I think the gap was not technical. I think the gap was human, the gap was culture, and the gap was
Yeah.
decision related. Especially now as I live and work in Saudi Arabia, where it's rapidly transforming and changing multiple industries, I consistently ask myself, how can I contribute to this nation ambition?
Yeah.
Especially for risk management, how can risk management in its current form support that growth rather than slowing it down? So I think that question pushed me into governance and risk management, but not from a compliance lens. So I was interested to see risk as a decision lens to help leaders navigate the uncertainty rather than fear it. And that's where resilience resonated with me the most because I realized over time that the traditional risk practice focuses on documentation, reporting, and control. And we rarely focus on how people actually think and how decisions are actually made. So that's where the Presilience approach resonated with me because it combines risk, resilience, leadership, and high performance in one package. So that's like a summary of my work, especially now through advisory and consulting. It's actually centered on how can I change people to see risk differently. And at the heart of it at all, my interest is not risk itself. It's actually how people make decisions under uncertainty and
Right.
how better thinking leads to better outcomes.
Yeah, that sounds very, very interesting. Especially the term itself sounds very interesting, this resilience, because we usually either refer to resilience or persistence or something like this. And you defined it like, briefly that what it is a combination of, resilience and how it helps you understand the uncertainty of the situation. But tell us a bit more about this term itself. That what exactly is resilience? What is the
Okay.
meaning of this? Yeah.
Okay. So I think one of the foundation is that we need to get our heads on that the world we're in today is
Mhm,
not even the world we were in yesterday.
mhm,
Things are moving very quickly and so dynamically
mhm,
that we need to adapt so quickly. So we
mhm,
need to understand how do we fit? What do we do? And how do we not just survive, but actually thrive? So the big challenge really is to understand the world we're in now versus the world we think we're in. And
mhm,
one of the ways that we can explain this is the world we're in can be described by vocab, right?
mhm. Yeah.
And now we added the D to the vocab because without the digitization overlay, we can't do anything now. So volatility, things shift very quickly. And especially now, the hyperconnectivity between things, the impact of things becomes 10 times more. So we need to act very quickly. Uncertainty, it's not new. If we can predict the future with high degree of certainty, the world of risk management wouldn't exist. We're here because we're needed. We don't have high degree of certainty and predictability about the future, so we need different set of skills. Ambiguity is a big challenge, especially the misinformation, the disinformation, and the information overload. Now you can determine whether the information is good or bad. So if you're following a specific approach to reach your outcome, you can be affected by many sources of data. And if you're not resilient, if you're not aware of these things, you will be affected. Your outcome will not be the way you intended to be. And we need to get away from the mindset that if we implement a control, we expect the control to be implemented and the efficiency within 6 months, then the outcome will come. It doesn't happen that way because we don't have high degree of control and high degree of certainty in some of the functions that we deal with now. So that's where resilience comes to play because it has two objectives. It helps us to have sustainable high performance during business as usual, and it helps us thrive through disruption. So these are the two objectives. And basically, resilience is a proactive prevention and opportunity centric approach. As we did many research on risk and resilience, and the big problem that we face is people see risk as something is bad.
Right.
And that's not true. And we can see the best organization who are taking the right risks, right?
Yeah.
So probably we hire our people based on AQ and
Mm-hmm.
IQ, right? They have to have a skill set, they have to be smart, and they have to get along with others. But still, you can have that person and still he or she makes terrible decisions. That's why in the Presilience we introduce RIQ, which is risk intelligence quotient. We need to train our people to make better decisions, good decisions all the time. And there are many tools and techniques, in that, but this is like a summary of it.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing, especially like taking risk is much needed, like to grow in any field or in any, like even for someone who is not even in business, they need to take risk in the life in order to grow. But there is like when you were saying this, that it's a RIQ is a risk intelligence quotient.
Intelligence.
Yes. So it was like coming to my mind that taking risk is also very much linked with the culture, right? Because some
Absolutely.
people might be like their personality could be risk taking, but if they were not given the right environment or the safe space where they can actually take risk. So what do you think that what is the role of culture or providing a safe space is what is the role playing, like having this safe culture in an environment to help
Everything.
any leader.
The culture, has a big role into this. But when I say risk and resilience, I'm talking about something very deep, which is even individual resilience. What makes me and you keep working? What makes our work sustainable? Right? What makes us resilient? Because
Yes,
at the end of the day, organizations are a collection of people.
yes.
What makes our people resilient? So we need to help them, to give them the skills, not because, Amber, you are in the marketing, we give you skills that are fit into just the marketing. We need to give our people the skills to thrive in everything. And
Mhm.
because we want high performers at the end of the day. So to your point, culture is everything. And we realized how important culture is. And that's why we created the first open standard risk culture. Now, or before, people say that we can't measure risk culture, we can't measure the culture, we
Mhm.
can't improve it. Now, as we speak, there is an open standard that people can take. There are 10 dimensions that people can assess against, and there are five maturity models that you can assess where you are, where do you fit now, and you see yourself where you are now, and you put an action plan to take you to the higher levels. So culture is everything.
Yes, yes, I agree with you because like I've seen in many corporation and organization that there are like wonderful people, but if there are no culture, so that there is a waste of talent because then they can't help people to take any risk or take the right decision, because it's always at the end of the day what kind of the culture you provide to your employees to develop the resilience or presilience or any kind of intelligence, whether it's emotional intelligence or any kind of
but
emotions.
but
Yeah,
it but the most important thing that it starts from you. It
yeah,
starts from myself.
yeah,
So I need to get myself ready. I need to get my skills ready, my mindset
yeah,
ready before I expect others to follow.
yeah.
So that's why alignment is a big thing. Alignment
Hmm.
starts with yourself, that you need
Yeah,
to align with the goals and the values of your team and the organization. And you can't align with your team if you're not aligned within yourself.
yes, absolutely. That's the self awareness and self alignment is the most important and most crucial thing. And I want to ask you one thing. As you mentioned, that especially this Saudi Arabia it's transforming, like at a very rapid pace. Like it's not like people you have they've seen Saudi Arabia like maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It was not like that at all. It's changing so rapidly, and I think that also makes all the organizations to adapt to the change very quickly. They need to take risk. So I want to ask that since you have been like consulting lots of organizations, what kind of change have you experienced or seen? Are the people are more open to it? And the other thing also I would like to want to link with you what you have said, that because it starts within, and especially the leader needs to be more self-aware, and it is also linked with the mental health. So, how these things are now incorporating, especially in Saudi Arabian culture.
Yeah, I think especially for Vision 2030 and the population now in the kingdom around, I don't know, I think 60 to 70% of the population are around under 40 years old. So
Yeah.
most of us are young, and especially now I've met many organization and groups. We are very hungry to grow. We
Mm,
want to grow. We want to be innovative, but sometimes the rigid approaches of policies, procedures, and all of that, it put constraints on people. So,
mm,
but generally, the population, the young generation now, we call them the Gen Z. They're very smart in technology. They're very smart in artificial intelligence. They're very smart and social more, which is a big opportunity for us. So they are more optimistic than like my generation and the previous generation. So
yeah.
it's a good opportunity for us, and Presilience is not optional anymore. So
Mm,
we need it as we speak, because the norm now is not just day-to-day work. We are being disrupted every day. So
yeah.
disruption becomes the norm, and as I say, the hyperconnectivity of things, we made our world very complex.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to help our people to develop what we call ambidextrous capability, which they need to be good at management, they need to be good at leadership. They need to be good at intuitive based decision making, and they need to be good at process based decision making. And
Yeah.
this is if what we call in system 1 and system 2 thinking,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
system 2 gives us 5% of decisions, and system 1 gives us 95% of our decisions.
Yeah.
The current practice, for example, in my field, risk management, lives into the 5%,
Yeah.
but we're not doing anything with the 95%.
Yeah.
Simply, why? Simply because it's hard.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Presilience tackles that. So one of the goals really to build the best intuitive decision making and
Hmm.
have the wisdom to know when to switch to system 2, because we're not going to need system 2 all the time. You
Yeah.
need people to adapt, you need people to make good decisions all the time, and that's where our IQ and the assessments that we do can train people to make better decisions at work, online, and at home. We can't expect people to be or to make good decisions just at work,
Yeah.
right? I want you to make good decisions at work and with your family
Yeah.
and online, right? So because you are the same person, you can't you can't disconnect now between
Mm.
work and life. And you mentioned the mental health. You can't. So
Yes.
it's the same person. It's all about situational awareness and how you regulate your emotions. And it's all about adaptive. Are you adaptive? Are you adapting to changes? Are you open to changes or not? If you're
Yeah.
stuck and you think everything is linear and you need to take certain steps to reach to the outcome, the current world we're in now requires you to move from A to C to Z in order to reach your outcome. So you need that adaptability, your adaptive leadership to move around things, especially around things that you don't have control and you don't have certainty. The world we're in is complex, and chaos are the
Mm.
operating systems that we're in now. It's
Yeah.
not simple and complicated like in 20 years ago. And those
Absolutely.
operating systems require different sets of skills, and we can't assume our people that they have it. Most likely they don't.
Yeah, that's like you explained it so beautifully. So thank you so much for sharing this, like all the details. There were like very good comments coming. A lot of people joining in. Like, hi Andrew, he's joining from Paris, and uh,
Andrew, I love him.
yeah, yes, he's amazing. Ariel is like,
Yeah.
hi, thank you so much for joining. And there's like Trina. She also is like sharing very nice comments. She's saying proactive resilience from human-centric lens, and she also said that resilience supports creating psychological safe workplace cultures and identify mitigate
Mm,
psychological risk to support mental health in our workplaces. Resilience needs to become a universal precaution. Yeah,
caution, absolutely.
yeah.
I totally agree with her. Trina was in one of the training with me, so
Oh,
she knows everything about Presilience. We need to create a high performing a culture that suitable for high performance, and psychological safety is a necessity. We can't
yeah,
ignore it. So
yeah,
high performers, probably me and you are high performers, we need to be psychologically safe and to make mistakes to feel valued and seen, because
yeah.
high performers do make mistakes, and
Absolutely.
we need to find a way to make those mistakes or failures and turn them into like learning points and
Yeah.
grab the opportunity out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we need to learn, you need to fail fast and fail more to learn and grow. So, yeah, that's definitely.
Absolutely. And we need to stop, really, we need to stop managing people.
Yes,
we're
exactly.
here we're here to coach people, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Right, we need to coach our people. We need to give them the skills that they need to thrive in my organization and in anywhere in the world.
absolutely. There's also a very nice comment by Ismail Muhammad, and he said, I like the concept of resilience in terms of skills. Today, changes occur very quickly, and we have to keep updating our skill set. Definitely.
Absolutely. And the mindset around compliance and resilience, or risk and resilient, basically it's mostly it's reactive.
Yeah,
So I do my controls, I implement my controls, and we forget that there is still a residual risk that may
yeah,
happen, right? And I don't want my fire system to be tested during the fire, right? So
yeah.
really, preparation and opportunity, when they intersect, it becomes a strength.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I actually wanted to ask that, like, you've been recognized among the top 2% of scientists worldwide. So tell us a bit about it. That what was the contribution that led you to have this title of or being like among 2% of the scientists, and how is this recognition influenced your work or perspective?
So I think I see that recognition as like an honor. It's very nice, but it's also as a responsibility,
Yeah.
not as not a destination. So it's really a reminder that capability should always be used in service of in servicing of something bigger, bigger than the personal achievement. So the top 2% is something that comes from the Stanford University. One of the professor there, they always do they have many equations to calculate the researchers based on many criteria, and it's a cumulative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very active in research. So one of the criteria is the quality of the journals that I pick, the
Yeah.
quality of the output, and many other criteria. So it's something good that shows, the quality of the work.
Yeah.
So it's something good, and it pushed me really to think more about relevance and application. I can't just produce research that is not applicable, right?
Yeah.
So we do research to test it in the market. So that's something good, and that is a good sign that this research is applicable.
Yeah, that's a really amazing, and Trina is saying amazing, and congratulations on that. Definitely, it's a pride for us also to have someone from Saudi Arabia to achieve that kind of recognition and honor. So that's really great. Congratulations
Thank you very
again.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very
So
much.
I want to also ask that, especially this concept is very much relevant to all the organization. But what do you think that what are the misconceptions that are creating obstacles to adapting this concept by any organization?
Okay, so there are three mindsets that we need to get used to. First,
Mhm,
compliance. We need to be very good at compliance, right? We need to be good at we need to be compliant with the law, with the regulators. At the end of the day, we don't want to end up doing like or having a compliance risk. So
mhm.
compliance is our ticket to the game, right?
Yeah.
Then the second leg is resilience, right? And making decisions is hard, and there
Mhm.
are consequences, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have good reserve. You need to have good incident management, emergency management, business continuity, all of these. When something happens, you need to get back to where you were before. So resilience is very important, right? But we can't stop here, because these, compliance is a backward looking, and especially in vocad today, compliance is not enough,
Uh,
because where does innovation come from? It comes from the front line, and
mhm,
comes from those who are psychologically safe. They have space to work, and they can make mistakes, and they can challenge assumptions, and they can take risk. That's where
yeah.
innovation comes. And that's where the third leg comes to play, which is resilience, which is a proactive approach, opportunity centric. We need people to think about opportunity all the time. And just imagine, we have many disruptions now. We can't prepare during the disruption, right? Because during the disruption, you want to get back to where you were. But think about this, there are many opportunities that happen during the disruption. If your people are panicking, if your people are not well prepared, they're gonna want to come back to the point A, right? Where we were before. But now, because they want to survive, we don't want to survive. We want to thrive. We want
Yeah.
people to think about opportunity. And during the stretch, the elasticity, the resilience, the disruption, opportunity could happen. And we want to grab that. And we can't grab that by just saying that. We need to prepare our people by giving them the right skills and the right techniques, the right environment, the right culture, the right leadership, the right mindset to grab the opportunity while managing the downside.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I mean, it's a lot of people are actually stuck there that, especially when the chaos happened, their mind shut down just because that, it's neuroscience because, and it all like, it actually triggers amygdala and then it only prepares you to either fight or flight. So most of the leader, especially when I actually experience any chaos or the new or unpredictable situation, they actually got numb or maybe they confuse in that sense. But if they prepare themselves, that's what exactly I think. That's why it's very important to have this resilience that that helps you prepare in advance to be ready to meet any unexpected situation. So I think that's a really wonderful way to be prepared to meet with
Because yeah, we want, Amber, we want high performance all the time,
yes,
right? We don't want to just perform very well during crisis, right?
absolutely,
So we
yeah,
want to do that, and it's basically we need to give them the skills. We can't assume that they have it. We can't assume that they have critical thinking. We can't assume that they have situational awareness. We
yeah,
can't assume that they have good communication skills,
Yeah.
right? And just having an open communication policy doesn't mean that people can't communicate,
Yeah.
right? You need to model that. You
Yeah.
need to model that on and set an example
Yeah.
for our people. And
Yeah.
people are very smart, so they tend to listen to what you say
Mhm.
and see what you do, and they
Absolutely.
compare. And
Yeah.
what you do sticks far more than what we see, what we say.
Absolutely. There's a very good comment by Fatma. She's a dear friend. Intentional failure geared in learning, developing will be the way to navigate while at the same time building system with adequate level of control. Rethinking system designs rather than considering static. Great points, Dr. Fayad. Yeah, that's
Absolutely,
great.
absolutely. We need also to make our systems support that, because sometimes the system, it's a KPI driven. It's
Yeah.
all after efficiency, which we want to produce more and more and more with less resources. But that is not applicable in the world we're in now, right? You need to include your people with you, and that can make your work end up being just a compliance thing, because
Yeah.
it's too much. It's too much. And us people, we don't have choice. I have to hit that KPI at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also a very good comment by Trina, and she's saying that bouncing back to where organization was is not always great place and may miss opportunities to bounce forward, as sheer adrenal management is a part of resilience. Yes.
Absolutely, because during that elasticity, just imagine that like a rubber band. You don't want to come back to your original shape. You
Yeah.
want to be different. You want to be different, because
Yeah.
you want to grab opportunity and learn and improve all the time.
Yeah.
Going back to where you were, it means you're surviving,
Yeah.
and we don't
Very.
want to survive now.
Yeah. This is the time to thrive, but very,
To
very true.
thrive, yes.
Yeah.
And it
And
needs more than ever human centric approaches.
yeah. So one question that actually is coming to my mind when you're actually explaining all this thing, and you said that like change is happening, people need to adapt to the change, and as you said that you said that people, especially leader, needs uh, to be high performance all the time, not just in the moment of crisis, and because not every day they face crisis, and that's very very critical that we need to understand that not every day is will be a moment that you need to show your bravery or something like that. But what is happening is change happens very slowly, and if the leaders today are unable to actually see the change coming, they lose the opportunity. So the thing is like these moments, like every day is kind of a mundane day, but that's also an opportunity to recognize
Absolutely.
that what's changing, because change is not happening like nowadays it's also happening very rapidly, like this AI is coming, every new other tool is coming. But again, the when the leaders are like dealing with the day-to-day situation, it's kind of like it becomes a very routine. So how do you think that how they can maintain high performance in kind of a mundane settings, that how can you put this the high performance higher? I'll just give you one example that's like to elaborate my question. We take the example of Kodak, right? Kodak was the company was, so what, like I was reading the case study of the Kodak, but so they did everything right, but what happens was they were unable to match the pace of change what is happening around them. So like they were not doing anything wrong, but what they did was that they were not able to respond to what's changing in the environment, which could be slowly, or they were unable to see that. So how you can actually suggest that what leader should do in these cases, in these
Absolutely.
scenarios?
Absolutely. So, in order to create a high performing culture, remember the three-legged stool: compliance, resilience, and presilience. So, you can't get into presilience without getting compliance, and resilience that are working perfectly. And I remember the research in the 1970 about high reliability organization, HROs, right? And today, in today's world, if you're not reliable, you shouldn't be in business, right? So the first point really to be reliable, to apply the principles and live the principle of HROs, of high reliability organization. Then after you reach that point, really you can move into HPO, which is high performance high performance organization. And surprisingly, most of our problems, they come from people or because of people. And surprisingly, most of the solutions, if not all of them, are the people. So
Absolutely.
we can't get away from that. Our people need to get involved in how we do things, how we improve, how we set strategy, how we do things. They need a space to be heard, to be seen. They need a space to do certain things, um, because they are the solutions. You can bring the best system in the world, and if your people are not aligned with you, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So there are many moving pieces, because remember the state, the operating system we're in, it's complexity and chaos. You move one lever here, there are many other consequences that happen. So we need a new way of thinking. We need to give our people the training, the right training, the right mindset, the right modeling and example to so they can follow us.
Yes, yes. I think that's very true. I think the essence is to keep your eyes and ear open and see,
Absolutely.
observe, and hear people what they are saying. And when I say the hear people, it's not only that the employees what they're saying, also see that what your consumer are saying, because sometimes like once I read this that you need to listen to the consumer, but you need to think your way. It's not something that what they're asking. Maybe they're asking the simple solutions, or maybe they're the ones who can actually tell you the problem. It's the one that
Absolutely.
you need to give them the solution. And it's give me this example, like this the Henry Ford. Like if he had listened to the consumer, he would have given the like faster horses, but he came up with the innovation, the idea. The solution should be more like innovative, and that comes from those people who are the leaders, who are thinking and who are listening to all those consumers, the employees, or the people around them. So I think this is very, very important point that you highlighted here.
And to your point, Ambrym, um, customer centric is very important, but you always can get a new customer, but you can get in another employee that can buy into your values, to your vision and strategy. So your people need to be, you need to be at the center of how we do things, right? And this reminded me about the Maslow hierarchy of needs, where before we need to fulfill the bottom need, then go all the way up. But in the
Yes,
current era that we're in now, everything is like a puzzle.
yes,
You may be physiologically good, safe, everything, but you have no self esteem. So you
yes.
can't high perform. So you need to work on these like as a matrix. You need to fulfill the top and the bottom and go all the way up, top, bottom, and bottom up,
Yes,
to
yes,
help people, to reach the high performance.
yes, absolutely. And that can only be done when you actually open to listen to what they're saying instead of like
Absolutely.
just taking it as it is. A very good comment by Geo Slam. And I'm with you on this concept. We need resilience skill as leadership and entrepreneurship has changed in these modern times. Changing course together turns mental health into team habit, not a secret struggle. Real safety at work grows when we trust our feelings and allow support, trusting our inner truth and seeing life as reflecting our inner states just as a mirror. To me, those ideas help us use change as friend, not an enemy. Real power is letting our hearts lead. And I think this it only shows this. Maybe there's more to it, but I cannot read. Yeah, but
Absolutely,
really,
absolutely. And truth has a big part, or trust has a big part into this.
yeah.
Basically, it's wrapping everything. Without trust, it we can't get anything.
Yeah, I know this is such an interesting conversation. I really love
Yeah.
am loving the discussion, and I
And
know
we
that
can
the
go
couple of
all the way, you know?
comments, yeah, the
We can
comments
go all
are
the way.
also very interesting. And thanks to all those listening and taking proactive and active commenting and making this conversation even more lively. So thanks to those. Uh, but our time is limited, so I would just before I actually close the show, I would want you to give one piece of advice uh, so you can give that advice to leader who's facing complex challenges today. So what do you think? What would it be?
I think that the best advice that I can give, and this is what I give to those that I mentor and coach, you can't request changes before you start with yourself. The best thing that you need to do to yourself is to change how you think, because without changing that, the world will still be the same in
Yeah,
your eyes. So you need to get your heads around different skills and techniques, and these are teachable skills, and learnable. You can learn them.
yeah,
So the best thing that I can give to our listeners and to ourselves is, in order to start any change, start with yourself.
yes. What a brilliant advice. Change always begins from within. So I think whatever
Absolutely,
the change you want to bring about in the environment or whatever, you have to bring that change first in yourself and then see. So
absolutely.
that's a brilliant advice. Yes.
Because most of people, they, especially in the risk team, the crisis team, they need and wait for tone from the top to get support and all of that. But there are things that should be done by me first. I
Yeah.
need to prepare.
Yeah.
I need to prepare myself.
Absolutely. And the leadership also, it's always like leadership is not given by title. You have to lead,
Absolutely.
first of all. Self leadership is very important, especially in this era where, like, everyone has a very critical role to play and we need to recognize it.
And in the Presilience, there's a big thing, which is leadership and followership, right? And it's not by title. Even if I am the CEO, it's good to be a follower at certain
Yeah,
situations. And high performers need a space where they lead, and we can
yeah.
follow. So it's good to follow, it's good to lead, it's good to know when to switch between those roles.
Absolutely, that's very wonderful. So, what is the best way when if the people want to connect with you or reach out to you? What is the best way?
Absolutely. It's just a matter of citation. The Presilience was created by Dr. Gav Schneider, who is the group CEO of Risk to Solution in Australia. He's my mentor. He's brilliant. I encourage you to connect with him. He's on LinkedIn, and I'm also on LinkedIn. So feel free to drop a message. I'm a big believer that the best way to grow is to share knowledge. So I'm open to share knowledge, and it's in the era now. We can't stop learning. We need to learn all every day. So I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm open to discussions, and I'm very adaptive. So I'm willing to change if something comes up.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and it was a wonderful discussion. And
Thank you very
the
much.
comments are also showing that the audience were enjoying and were actively listening. So thanks to all those who joined and commented. It was really great conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine, and it was nice being a guest in your show.
Thank you.